let's start off talking about.
Test.
Okay, great.
Testicle.
Sorry, testicles.
Start off with what kind of family life you had with. Well, first of all, hold on a second. Did you want him to reiterate the thing that happened with Nino taking him from his father and all that? You want to talk about his father first?
That's.
Oh, we got to go through that again?
We got to, I think.
Yeah?
Well, I
Took you away from your father, and what that was about.
Well, my father was basically, he was a drinker. Always went to work, always supported us. What had happened, what the real story is that my two uncles, Nino and his brother, my Uncle Roy, or Rosario, they were doing this insurance scam. They wanted to do this insurance scam. And they wanted my father to drive the car into one of the L abutments on 86th Street, the subway, to hit one of those for this car thing. And he didn't want to do it because he said, and I found this out years later, but he had told my mother that if you do this much with them, then it's going to just escalate into their life, and I don't really want to be in their life. Shortly after that is when Nino just went to him, and under the guise of him being an alcoholic and stuff like that, just kicked him out of the house, and basically told me you're not allowed to talk to him, you're not allowed to see him, which was kind of weird because he lived like 3 blocks after Nino got kicked him out of the house. He moved in with his mother over Castellano Pork Store, which the Castellanos owned at the time on Bath Avenue. And I used to see him every day, and I had to cross the street, so he wouldn't talk to me. Then years later I found out, because I looked up his sister, my Aunt Sue, who I hadn't seen in maybe 30 years, and I found out how proud he was, like when I was in Vietnam, and he followed he knew everything about my life. He found everything out about the sports, about the Vietnam thing, and by the time I got in touch with Sue and found out all the good shit about my father, which I had never known in my life, it was too late. He was dead. And that's like it's a tough thing, and that's what I'm trying to relate to my kids today, because we're kind of estranged. And it's like, yeah, we might, you might not want to talk to me right now, but once I'm gone, there's no talking. And you're gonna feel it. It's gonna fucking dig right here, because that's what it did to me, and I just know that's gonna happen if we stay estranged. So I'm trying, at this point, to try and put my, try and get back in good graces with my kids.
Well, why are you estranged?
Number one, I could never understand. We got ghosts. The ghosts want to eat.
A rat, is it?
Nah, the rat's gone.
Good.
I was on a roll here.
Why you were estranged?
Yeah, I know. One thing I never could understand was how much Denise forgave me for all my misdeeds while we were married. Womanizing and blah, blah, blah. And you want to say something?
Yeah, I want to say don't use her name. Say my wife.
Okay, yeah. Is my wife, I never could understand how she could, basically forgive me. I don't think she forgave me, but basically, like, have a congenial relationship with me after what I did to her, with all the womanizing I did and the drugs and, all of that. I finally got to a point where I really had it well set up with them, and I moved to where they live, and I was living there for a while. And I just couldn't make it there. You know, financially, I couldn't, you know, find anything to do to make some extra money. So I decided to come back to New York, and to tell you the truth, I really don't know. And this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for an answer to why they're so pissed off at me now. You know, I really don't know what I did. I know I left Arkansas when I said, okay, and it was great while I was there.
Stop for a second.
Yeah, Arkansas.
Yeah, you gotta leave that out.
I know when I left where they were at, I must have done something. Maybe I left too abruptly or whatever happened, but, you know, that's something I got to straighten out, you know, because it's going to hurt everyone all around. Everybody's going to just wind up getting hurt over this. And, you know, I don't know. I mean, when I was running the streets, I mean, I was a great provider. I mean, nobody wanted for nothing, you know. A $40,000 watch for Christmas to my ex-wife was, you know, nothing to me. I just didn't really understand that, you know, that's not what she or my kids really wanted. They wanted a father, and I was never there. You know, I was running the streets all the time. You know, I mean, there was times like in 78 and 79 where, I mean, I wouldn't come home for like 2 days. You know, I'd make a lot of money in those 2 days, but, you know, it was one time when we were living in the house in Westlake. You know, it's a $2 million home. And Denise told me I was a lot happier when we were living in Berkeley and spending $210 on rent, and you were there all the time, than I am in this 6,000 square foot house that I really don't care about. You know, without you here, you know, I just, you know, now today I understand it, but it took a lot of years to, like, you know, really, for me, I'm a late developer, I guess, you know, mentally. So it took me a while to really understand that, you know, that's what it was about in the first place. That's how it should have stayed, and that's how it should be today. But it's not. It's all convoluted. It's all like blown up. So I got to like take the shrapnel and put it back together. You know.
Well, why do you think they're mad at you?
No, it really is a mystery to me. It really is a mystery to me. I don't know yet. You know, I mean, and if I knew, you know, I mean, I tell you, I'm perfectly honest with everything we talk about. But I don't know. You know, what got everyone so pissed off. You know, the only thing I could figure is that how I left. You know, I mean, it was like maybe 3 days. I said, you know, I'm going, and on the third day I was gone. I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that question.
Well, when was the last time you saw them? What happened?
It was probably close to a year ago. You know, when I came back, you know, to the city. And I really haven't talked to any of them since.
Have
You know,
you
I've
tried
tried, yeah. No, I definitely tried. I've called, I've left messages. You know, nobody has ever called back. You know, so.
How do you feel about that?
I feel miserable about it. You know, I mean, there's not a day goes by where I don't think about it. And there's not a day goes by without me thinking about getting up the nerve to make contact again and try and straighten it out. You know, and I think what the fear is there is the rejection. Like if they tell me, okay, no, we don't want to put it back together, then I know for the rest of my life I got no family. You know. Up until I got into that life, you know, I mean, 8 years, I was just the best, like, husband in the world. You know, worked every day, legitimate work. Was home every night. You know, when I got into that life, something snapped in my head. whether it be, part of the ego of being who you were, or the money that you had, or whatever it was, something like short-circuited up here, and what happened happened.